Our glorious NFL regular season has finally come to an end. There have been ups and downs for every team, but this season has yet to disappoint. Every pass play, run play, touchdown, field goal, and missed field goal, talking to you, Baltimore, has led us to the stage that we are at right now. The final 14 teams have been set for this postseason, and now we must sit back, relax, and enjoy this year's playoffs and see what team will submit themselves in NFL history. I am ankle breaking coverage, and I am here to give you ball watchers the most accurate postseason guide for this year's 2026 NFL playoffs. You guys have no clue how long it took me to record that intro. But regardless, the stage is finally set. Each conference has their number one seed who will receive a bye week for this first round of the playoffs. So they do not play in a wild card weekend. But the two teams representing each conference, on the NFC side, you have the Seattle Seahawks coming off an amazing victory versus the San Francisco 49ers. And you have the Denver Broncos coming off of being one of the best defenses in the league and a win this weekend. My apologies. Coming off of a win versus the Chargers. It wasn't really necessarily a big win because it's pretty much a blowout. But you secured the dub, secured the one seed, and that's the good thing about that. But you have one of the best defenses in the league and one of the best up-and-coming QBs in the league right now. He might be old for a second-year player, but he is playing some gosh darn good football. So what does this mean for each side? You have the 2-seeded Bears facing the 7-seeded Packers, the 3-seeded Eagles facing the 6-seeded 49ers, the 4-seeded Panthers, good job Carolina, versus the 5-seeded Rams. And on the AFC side, you have the 2-seeded Patriots versus the 7-seeded Chargers. The 3-seeded Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills. And the 4-seeded Steelers versus the 5-seeded Texans. I'm going to go ahead and go through my predictions for the first round of this year's NFL playoffs. Now, starting off with the NFC's first round of this year's playoffs, man. We got the 2-seeded Bears versus the 7-seeded Packers. Chicago has home field advantage. Now, the Packers have led in both first halves of this season because they are divisional rivals. So the season series is at 1-1. These two teams are familiar with each other. And the Packers have led by a significant margin in both of these first halves, but have struggled to be consistent and competitive in these second halves in both games. Now, it is important to know that Jordan Love went out with a concussion during that second game, and they still had a chance to win it. Now, Malik Willis has been playing good football as a backup, but I still think your best chance to win is with your number one guy who is familiar with all of the starting receivers. And they've been pretty effective in both the run game and the pass game, as Chicago does not have the greatest defense known to man. So what does this mean for the Bears? Now, Caleb Williams has had a phenomenal season behind Ben Johnson. Almost 4,000 passing yards on the season, 30 total touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. Ben Johnson has unlocked Caleb Williams. The Caleb Williams that we've seen coming out of college, it has now arrived right now. But in this game, I do believe Caleb will go as far as his running backs, Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. I don't think the run game has been bad in neither of these games, but I think they're going to have to do a little bit more than they have been in order to open up this passing game for Caleb Williams. Because you're not going to do much. You're not going to stop that offense on the defensive side of the ball unfortunately, when it comes to Chicago. But you can't come out flat. You cannot come out there and stall in the first half like you have in both of these games. I believe they only scored 3 total points in both first halves of these games. Just 3. Not even a touchdown. So you cannot come out flat. You must come out aggressive. And you do have home field advantage. But I do not know how much that defense will hold up against this Green Bay offense, and as healthy as they're going to be. So I do have the Green Bay Packers stealing a win in Chicago. But great job with making the playoffs for the first time in what feels like a long time. Next, you have the 3-seeded Eagles versus the San Francisco 49ers. San Fran has not been healthy all season long. That is no surprise. That doesn't surprise any. That's no shocker. But they've still been able to get it done. And even had a chance at the number 1 seed in their final game. Now, they've played the Seattle Seahawks, which is an amazing opponent. It's a divisional rival. I don't remember who was at home, though. I believe Seattle was at home. I believe the 49ers had the home field advantage. But they still fell 13-3. That offense has been electric all December, and you cannot deny that. But during the month of December and a little bit of January, when they have faced an elite defense, they have struggled. And that is exactly what the Eagles are, an elite defense. The Eagles have not let up more than 24 points since week 6. But their defense wasn't even healthy in that game. They were missing Quinyon Mitchell as well as Jalen Carter in that game. They are 9th in passing defense, 5th in points per game allowed, and 8th in red zone defense. That is just outstanding. But my question for the Eagles is, will that offense hold up? When I think about the Eagles, I seen this TikTok a while ago, and it's the funniest thing ever. When I think about the Eagles, I watch them, and I can only hear Saquon up the middle, Saquon up the middle, AJ Brown deep ball, punt. That's been the Eagles' offense all season long. It's actually hilarious watching them after I seen that video. It really comes to light how bad that offense is and how bad the offensive play calling has been this season. But lately, it honestly has not been down bad, as they have converted 75% of their red zone trips into TDs in these last 3 games. That question of will the offense hold up will always be there for Philly. But at the end of the day, they're in Philadelphia. They have the home field advantage. And Jalen Hurts usually does step up his play when it comes to the playoffs. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles to stun the 49ers and advance into the second round of this season's playoffs. And finally, for the NFC side of the wild card weekend, we have the 4-seeded Panthers versus the 5-seeded Rams. Carolina, I love you. You are my second most liked team in the NFL right now, outside of my Jaguars. But I'm sorry to break it to you. Anybody that came out of the NFC South was going to get belt to ass. They do not stand a chance against this Rams team, who, yes, they beat earlier in the season. That shit's not happening again. Give me the Rams to advance easily. Moving on to the AFC side of the bracket. You have the 2-seeded New England Patriots versus the 7-seeded Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Chargers haven't really been healthy all season, especially on that O-line. And Herbert has not been healthy himself. And I just think that the defense of the Patriots would be just a tad bit too much to handle for the Chargers. And the offensive side of the ball, Drake May has had an MVP level season, totaling 4,394 yards, 35 total touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Like I stated before, they have a good defense. They have a great QB. He has a veteran wide receiver in that room in Stephon Diggs. My only concern with them is their strength of schedule, but I think that they'll be able to handle business against the Los Angeles Chargers. So give me the New England Patriots to take that dub in New England. Moving on, you have my 3-seeded Jags versus the 6-seeded Bills. Now this is the year for Josh Allen. No Patrick Mahomes, no Burrow, and no Lamar Jackson. This is supposed to be the year. This is the season he is supposed to take his Super Bowl, as he has been let down year after year after year when he runs into Mahomes. They have the best statistical rush offense, averaging 159 total rushing yards per game. This is his time. But unfortunately, he faced Duval as his first round opponent. The Jacksonville Jaguars statistically have the best run defense in the league, only allowing 85 rushing yards per game. An immovable object meets an unstoppable force, and both of them collide. So who could possibly win? Jacksonville is the hottest team in the league right now with so many weapons, and I really hope my bias is not showing. I don't believe I have any bias. You guys let me know if I'm wrong. But I feel like everything I'm speaking right now is facts. On an 8-game winning streak, one of if not the hottest teams in the league, with so many offensive weapons that I genuinely don't know if the Bills can hold up. You have Parker Washington coming around the corner. You have Brian Thompson Jr., who had a phenomenal rookie season, is having a sophomore slump, but is still a serviceable football player. And Jacoby Myers, who has opened up this pass game. Brenton Strange, who is a great blocking tight end and also great in the pass game. Travis Etienne, Bashaw Tootin coming back. And we're doing all of this without Travis Hunter. I don't think I'm being biased in the slightest bit, but with the home field advantage, give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to take down the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, not John Hines Allen, but Josh Allen. Maybe next year will be your year, but I just think you ran into the wrong team on the road. If this was flipped, if Buffalo was at home, I think my answer would be different. But because the Jacksonville Jaguars have home field advantage, give me the Jags. And moving on to the 4-seeded Steelers versus the 5-seeded Texans. Like I stated, with the NFC South, the AFC North is just like that division with a little bit of makeup on it. Give me the Texans to win that game easily. Now for my true ball watchers, you guys know that this list or this bracket is as accurate as it can possibly be right now, as long as no one get injured. Once again, that's unrealistic, but like I stated before, as long as nobody gets injured, this is the most accurate list possible. So for the NFC round 2 side of the playoffs, we have the number 1 seeded Seattle Seahawks hosting the 7-seeded Packers, the 3-seeded Eagles hosting the 5-seeded Rams, and on the AFC side, we have the 1-seeded Broncos hosting the 5th-seeded Texans, and you have the 2-seeded Patriots hosting the 3-seeded Jags.